Since its beginning, media has been a one-way street, with all the images and flashing graphics coming at us like a fire hose of information from which generations drank daily. And then came the internet, allowing the audience to interact with the content that they view or to create their own. And in this ever-stepping manner of creation, we find ourselves on a new path, a place where you, the viewer, can determine the direction of our travel, a place we call Random Acts of Awareness.
What does it mean to walk a truly spiritual path? It's the eternal path. The spiritual path can be described as the eternal path. So what you have done, if you are walking a spiritual path, is you have stepped out of the finite into the infinite.
The beauty is all around you. But ultimately, the beauty is within you. That which emerges is what you choose to see. The path of spirit.
Author of Living Your Destiny, How to Get Everything You Want Faster Than You'd Ever Dream Possible. You can find me at drinspiration.com.
Hello everyone, namaste. What does it mean to me to walk a truly spiritual path in life?
To always give from the heart and to be present and in the now with everyone around us all the time.
Hi, I'm Denise Lescano. I am a professional spirit medium and intuitive consultant. I also am a teacher and author of the book, The Messenger. So the question has been asked, what does it mean to be on a spiritual path? Everything about your life is a spiritual path. Life itself on planet Earth in physical existence is a spiritual path. We choose to come here. We plan to come here, and we plan that with all the loved ones in our lives who are our teachers and who we sometimes teach. And every experience that you're involved in your life is a spiritual experience. The people that are in your workplace, the experience that you may have in your family relationships, experiences you have with illnesses, and believe it or not, even an experience like going to war, being a soldier in the war, that is actually a spiritual experience.
You know, living a life, a spiritual life, you know, what we first have to do is define what that is. You know, what is living a spiritual life? You know, we talk about religion, we talk about spirituality, and what is the difference? You know, for me personally, religion is for people who are afraid of hell, and spirituality is for people that are been to hell and don't want to go back.
Well, it's the eternal path. The spiritual path can be described as the eternal path. So what you have done, if you are walking a spiritual path, is you have stepped out of the finite into the infinite.
It just basically means to love yourself, first of all, to know yourself and respect yourself for who you are, for the being that you are meant to be yourself in love, and to spread that love to the rest of the world. To recognize that the rest of the world is just a reflection of you.
What is the real path of spirit? It's a question many people ask. People will talk about presence. They'll talk about sense of reconnecting with soul that never leaves them. But how do you relate to it in real life? What is the path of spirit for you? What if it's that recognition that nothing is happening to you, but that everything is being created by you? What if it means unconditional love and forgiveness? Forgiveness of everyone to the point where nothing phases you. Imagine what life would be like if the external world no longer bothered you.
Living in a spiritual life is really all about staying in the love state. You know, there really are only two states of existence. You're either in fear or in love. And when you are expressing love in your life, it is impossible not to be spiritual.
When you experience and, choose to experience life as a reflection of yourself, you gain insight from every experience. You evolve consciously by exploring all of these different aspects of your being.
So you don't have to necessarily be on a religious path or a chosen spiritual path. What I like to tell people is what you really are obligated to do is try to learn from the experiences that you're in and try to do a little bit better as a human being every day than you did the day before. If you're doing that, then you are on a spiritual experience.
There is such a beautiful purpose to the way of life on this planet, and that we are truly here to grow and to balance ourselves, because you really can't be propelled forward into love without experiencing hatred or anger. You can't be propelled into the light without experiencing darkness first.
What would your life be like from the moment you realize that there's no power in choosing to be a victim? What would your life be like from the moment you realize true power lies in accepting and embracing all that you are? That godlike part of you that is forever worthy, that has intrinsic value, that has intrinsic perfection, that has nothing to improve upon. What if the path of spirit is the recognition and acceptance of who you truly are?
We're just here, really in a higher sense, to play with each other. This is truly the simple essence of what I believe it means to be here, is to, yes, go through all these experiences and have so many beautiful or not so beautiful experiences. Enjoy the roller coaster that we're on. Enjoy the ups and downs. They're just sensations, they're just experiences, they're just fleeting energetic vibrations that are passing through your being.
As a professional spirit medium, I work with a lot of nonprofit organizations that deal with sudden death and suicide, drug overdoses, even instances like domestic violence and homicide. It doesn't matter what religion you practice. Even though religion would like you to believe that theirs is the right one, the way it's been explained to me by Spirit is every religious path holds a piece of the bigger truth, but no one path holds all of the truth. So every spiritual path in itself has lessons to learn. And all a spiritual path is, a conscious religious path or a chosen spiritual belief or a pursuit to become more aware or enlightened, what that really is is basically a spiritual discipline. It's your discipline every day of focusing your intention and your mind and your thoughts on improving.
Now, a lot of people are led to this path during their life, but they do not see reality in a deeper sense. They do not understand that we are consciousness. There is the entrenched thought in this world that we are bound to this world as physical beings on a physical planet. Now, this is false, but the way people are led to this path is amazing, because when you delve into the field of consciousness and you start to open up to other things, you see things in your life that are synchronistic, not as coincidences. People pass these things off as coincidences, but when you begin to see synchronicities in your life, it is that you are either on the true path or it is leading you to the true path.
The path of spirit is whatever you decide it is, because there is only one being, one love. There is nobody else. That creator is you. The recognition of that is part of awakening, part of awareness of what the heart has always known.
You know, when we look around and we're in touch with everyone around us, we're always looking to give more, looking to think of someone else first. You know, it's really, I'm either selfish or I'm selfless.
It's the recognition that everything you see in others offers you insight into yourself. It's knowing new dimensions of love, expanding. It's sensing that you are perfect just as you are, that nothing anyone says is relevant. It's how you feel that paints the picture.
To be always emptying your vessel, you know, to be giving constantly, but to be open for receiving, and to just let everything be taken care of. Let the higher aspects of yourself take care of the little things for you, because that is truly what we are designed to do. We are designed to be vessels for the higher light.
What Spirit has always told me personally in my life is to find a spiritual practice that suits your temperament and try to practice it every day if you can. I came from a very, very strict religious upbringing. I am not a religious person myself, because being a medium and working with people from all around the world, of all cultures, of all religious backgrounds, of all economic backgrounds, all races, everything, I don't find that there's one religion that I can fit everything I know as a spirit medium into that one belief system. I find little truths in all the belief systems. So if you choose a religious path or a spiritual path or a real conscious type of learning, that's great. And it's great for you, but just know that your path might be different than someone else's. And everybody's path is totally different. And you have to imagine that Earth is just a giant school. It's for our souls, metaphorically, like going away to college for 4 years. And we choose to come here, and we choose where we're going to be born, and we choose who our parents are. We choose many of the life experiences that we'll be involved in. But what we come here to learn is through our choice, through free will, and through our choices, we create different outcomes, which create new classrooms while we're here in life. And it's all spiritual. Believe it or not, drug addiction can be a spiritual experience. Someone who is spending their life in prison can be having a spiritual journey. It's all a spiritual journey. The only time it's not a spiritual journey, really, is if you are very, very much in denial and avoiding some of the important things that your soul needs to work on here in life.
So to be on this path, so to speak, is the ultimate, because you have stepped away from what is false into what is true. Now, for me to explain that to people who aren't on the path, it's hard, because the ones who are on it understand that it's a feeling. It's not something that can be explained. It's something that you feel here, because you understand that your true home is within, it's not without. That's where the path is. People walk around all day in the outside world, searching for this peace, when we need to turn around and turn our attention the right way, which is within.
Many people sense that the path of spirit is all about integrating teachings into their lives, integrating new ways of doing, new aspects of a lifestyle. Another perspective is that the path of spirit is all about accepting what is. It's about being more intimate with life. Consider that some people will pursue love rather than recognize that love is who they are. Consider that truth, the path of truth, what is that? What if the path of truth is just seeing what is with open eyes?
I think denial is probably the biggest obstacle to spiritual evolution. And the ego, not wanting to really be honest, soul search and look at ourselves. Every one of us needs room for improvement. We often tend to focus on what's wrong with everyone else around us. And that's a great way to avoid looking what's really wrong with us. And what I've come to realize through so many readings, thousands of people, is that through our relationships, through the people that are in our lives, we confront ourselves. So every person in your life, whether it's your spouse or your children or your parent or even your coworkers, they're actually reflecting back to you aspects of yourself that may need improvement if there's conflict. We are actually attracted to people whose flaws and weaknesses trigger our own flaws and weaknesses. And it's a way that we show ourselves the things that we need to work on. So when you think of life that way as a giant school and in a learning experience, you can drop the mentality of being a victim. There's no victims here. There truly aren't, because we volunteer to come to life on earth. We come here knowing that this is basically like spiritual boot camp. It is a battleground. And we don't come here to necessarily cure all the world's problems, because through those problems is how we grow.
Life is spirituality. And for us to stay out of ourselves and to think of someone else, to always live with our heart, not necessarily with our head.
It's where you focus your attention that creates your sense of reality, that defines your temporary experience. As C.S. Lewis says, you are a human in a body, but ultimately you're a soul in that body. And recognizing that, feeling that, trusting that is all part of it, isn't it? It's part of awakening. It's part of tapping into that awareness you always have.
It is a journey. In a little classic named Light on the Path, Mabel Collins explained, "You will enter the light, but you will never reach the flame." What she is implying here is, even when you are on the path, it is a journey. It's a constant journey. It's an eternal path. So you will never reach the flame, so to speak, but you are the flame.
But I learned so much from the people that I work with. And what I learn is I see souls that are in the darkest moments of their life, some of them even feeling suicidal. And I get the opportunity to watch them rise above and overcome difficulties, trauma, victimization in their life. And when they do it, they become so empowered and so much stronger and so much more aware. Without the darkness, we could never appreciate the light. Without being hungry, we would never appreciate our bellies being full. Without being lonely, we might not appreciate the people that really love us in our lives. And the thing is when we are at home, which is our spiritual home, which you want to maybe call heaven, when we're at home, the only thing that exists for us there is unconditional love, compassion, and forgiveness. Don't believe any religion that tells you any different. We are only surrounded by love when we leave this life, and healing. But when we are only surrounded by love and support and goodness, it's a lot more difficult to grow. Think of in your own life. When everything is wonderful and everything is perfect, we can become sometimes apathetic, maybe lazy, maybe overconfident. Our ego might get a little bit big. It's only through difficulty and suffering and trial that we really have to grow.
Some people sense the path of spirit is about recognizing guilt, fear, negativity. All of those lower vibration emotions are illusions, and that the life you're leading is based on projections of the mind. Letting all of that go expands your perspective, broadens your horizons, all in this moment.
Now, when you're on this path, you realize many things. This is when you come across the realization of separation. Because to walk a truly spiritual path is to perceive reality correctly. Even some people who are on the spiritual path do not perceive reality correctly, because we see a lot of spiritual teachers out there, and even your average person on the street, who scorn the average people for not understanding this path, this journey. Now, this is a wrong way to see other people, because in fact, they are the self. They are you as well. And if they aren't on the path now, what you have to remember is, ultimately they will be on the path, either later on in this life, or the next life, or the life after that. It doesn't matter when. We who say that we are on the path need to realize this, because we can get caught in a trap where we begin to rest on the path. Because when I say we rest on the path, because we are still drawn into the illusion of separation. You still see that other beautiful being as separate than you, when they are you. Because the ultimate on the path is to reach the abode of the sages, so to speak. What is the abode of the sages? That is non-duality, the truth of non-duality. Advaita is what they call it in Vedantic philosophy. That's the abode of the sages. Now, when you get to that stage, that is the true spiritual path, because you see everything as you, and everything is you. Everything is the self. Everything is an effect of consciousness. Even your human body is an effect of consciousness. But you are the self. Now, this is why people don't want to get to this stage, because people will rest when it gets to a mental state, but to go beyond to the root of consciousness is the self. Now, when you're there, I am you and you are me.
It's like the path of spirit is the merging of that being and becoming, and recognizing it's all now. Recognizing there is no separation between the spiritual you and other aspects of you that you focus on. It's all about aligning all of those aspects and recognizing the wholeness, recognizing the oneness that is.
To give that person who's with you the attention that they deserve, to look into the person's eyes and really understand who they are as an individual, or what it is they're trying to communicate. You know, spirituality is something that you feel.
Reminds me of the Dark Crystal movie as an analogy, because there is this crystal shard that's separated from this huge crystal. And it's like darkness and light are separated as the result of that fragmentation. And from the moment that shard is put back into the crystal, everything aligns. The light and the dark merge and become one, and all is perfect. Of course, all is always perfect, but it's a question of what you choose to see, isn't it?
So, for those who are on the spiritual path, do not rest. Stay true. Do not scorn your brothers and sisters for not understanding who you are and not understanding the journey that you're on, because you will fall behind. You may think you're taking 3 steps forward, but you are in fact taking 4 steps backwards, because you are still buying into the illusion of separation.
Ego is what keeps us out of spirituality. You know, the words ego stand for edging God out. You know, and when I'm focused, or when we are focused on ourselves, when we're living in our ego wants to take credit for everything. You know, all the good things that happen in my life are because I did this. You know, or all the bad things that happen in my life are because someone else is doing this to me.
Just remember, whatever journey you're on, all you have to do is just, show up, participate in your life, try to do a little bit better every day than you did the day before. Try to become more compassionate, forgiving, and loving. You know, those are the 3 things that every major religion around the world teaches. Every great spiritual religious teacher taught the lessons of unconditional love, compassion, and forgiveness. They're universal. They're the 3 biggest reasons that we all come here to learn. And the answer to every problem in everybody's life around the world lies in one of those 3 things.
Why do we define good and bad? You know, there is no bad, there is no good, there's just is. There's just life. There's just life on life's terms. And for me to define something as one or the other, it's me putting a judgment on it.
The beauty is all around you, but ultimately the beauty is within you. That which emerges is what you choose to see. The path of spirit.
It is a challenge to live life in a spiritual nature. It really is. Because we have so many character defects. We have so many internal egos telling us that we're in charge. And we're not in charge of anything. You know, if there's one thing that I've learned in my life is that I am not in charge. You know, God has a plan. You know, and it doesn't have to be God. It can be the universe. It is divinity. You know, divinity has a plan. And I have to just do the footwork, take action, and leave the results up to divinity.
Learn and be loving and be love.
So just remember, whatever you do in life is your spiritual journey. Thanks.
Be the truth. Walk forward purposefully. Guide and help your brothers and sisters out of love, out of compassion, out of forgiveness, not out of separation. See them as you and you as them. That is the truth. It's the truth of Advaita. That's who we truly are.
Random Acts of Awareness is more than something to watch. And we ask you to get involved and help making this what you want to see. So what will next week's episode be? You decide. Leave your suggestions as a comment or tweet me at ICPChad. I'm Chad Lilly, and this has been a Random Act of